I am a lector at my church, and that means that from time to time I am called upon to do one of the readings. The first reading is usually something from, or it's often something from the Old Testament. I guess it usually is from the Old Testament. The first reading is. The second reading is usually from one of the epistles in the New Testament, and then the gospel, which is read by the priest, is obviously from one of the gospels. But today I was the first reader, and I had a very interesting text to read, and I just want to share a little bit of this with y'all, because this is this is actually in some ways a really funny passage. It's very interesting. It's very there's a lot of layers to what's going on here, but there's also a kind of humor to it. There's, I was almost tempted as I was reading this to sort of like, I could see how you could do this in a kind of Groucho Marx kind of way, like, and then he says this, and then because there's like a there's like, it's like the setup of a joke or something, even though it's very, very serious what they're talking about. So let me read this passage to y'all. This is Genesis 18, verses 20 through 32. And this is the New International Version, which is what I could find online. It's I think different from the translation that was used, that's used at our church, but still the meaning is the same. Then the Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great and their sin so grievous, that I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know." The men turned away and went toward Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. This is a very interesting situation here, as you'll see. Then Abraham approached him, that's God, and said, will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. Far be it from you. Will not the judge of all the earth do right? So God is planning to smite Sodom and Gomorrah, which he ends up doing, of course, because of their wickedness. But Abraham is appealing to him, saying, well, what if there are 50 people in these cities who are righteous? Are you really going to kill 50 innocent people just to kill all the rest of the guilty people? The Lord said, "If I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake." So what's funny so far is how Abraham is saying, far be it from you to do such a thing. Like he's kind of, and I think there's a lesson here that we can be familiar with God. We can even talk to God in a way that might seem overly familiar or or presumptuous. Well, Abraham does a little bit of both. He does a little bit of this over familiarity, where he's saying, "Look, you're God. Come on, you're not going to kill 50 innocent people. God, or the righteous God doesn't do that." And the Lord says, he's just deadpan in his answer. "If I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake." So we go on. Then Abraham spoke up again. "Now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ashes, what if the number of the righteous is 5 less than 50? Will you destroy the whole city for lack of 5 people? If I find 45 there," he said, "I will not destroy it." So now Abraham is, drawing attention to boy, I know I'm really kind of overstepping my bounds here, and I'm just dust and ashes, and you're the Lord. I'm nothing. You are the creator of the universe. But really, what if there's 45 righteous people? Isn't that still? Shouldn't you still spare them? And God, instead of instead of saying, "All right, enough of this," what do you, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to Jew me down here? Because that's basically what's happening. Although it's in a good way. It's not about money. It's about sparing innocent human lives. um, so yeah, if the 45 there, I will not destroy it. Once again, he spoke to him. What if only 40 are found there? So he keeps going down more and more, just little by little. And God says, for the sake of 40, I will not do it. Then Abraham said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found there? So again, kind of buttering up. Again, I know this might be close to sacrilegious to talk about it this way, but I'm just saying there's something there's a humor to this passage that Abraham is being as I said, presumptuous, but he's also drawing attention to his presumptuousness, saying, look at me talking to the Lord this way. May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found there? So if there's 50, what else? God says, fine, if there's 50 innocent people, I won't destroy it all. If there's 45, I won't destroy it all. What if there's just 30? He says, he answered, I will not do it if I find 30 there. Abraham said, now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, what if there are only 20 that can be found there? God said, for the sake of the 20, I will not destroy it. Then Abraham said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just one more time. What if only 10 can be found there? And God answered, for the sake of 10, I will not destroy it. And that's where the passage that I was given ends. It's not where the chapter ends, but it really struck me at the time as I was reading it that, and I'm familiar with this passage. I've read it before. I knew that Abraham, bargained with God over, saving lives, over the notion of him wiping out these two wicked towns where these great evils are taking place, where everyone is just extremely sinful and wicked and evil. But there's some good people there, and maybe there are some good people there, and he takes him down to 10, and for some reason it doesn't go lower than that. You kind of think, well, what if he talks him down to 5, and what if he talks him down to 1? Then would you destroy one innocent person just to wipe out the rest of the town where everybody's wicked? Shouldn't you save that one? Shouldn't you spare that one innocent person? There's a lot going on here. Again, that I'm struck by the way that Abraham addresses God. How it's a weird combination of respect and I don't want to say disrespect, but over familiarity. Like, surely you're the righteous Lord. You wouldn't kill innocent people, would you? That there's not really but then also saying, oh well, look at me. Maybe I've gone a little too far already, but since I've already since I've already bothered you so much, since I'm already pestering you so much with my questions, let me just ask one more question. What about if there's just 10, 20? What if there's just 10? Um, and and God, instead of saying, "Look, what part of what also was amusing to me was, thinking God is being so patient, with this guy, just you know, asking him all these questions, asking like, what if, like, he could just say, "Look, you're dust and ash. I am the Lord your God. I know best what's right and what's wrong. If I do destroy the town with innocent people in it, then there's still that doesn't mean that my goodness is compromised. It means that there are aspects of my godliness, my that go beyond your understanding. Kind of like what Job gets told at the end of the book of Job, more or less. Who can understand the Lord your God." And so, like, the whole idea that even things that don't seem to be right, even things that seem to be unrighteous from our human point of view, we can't see from God's point of view. And so God made the world. God has the dominion over the world to do with it as He chooses by His divine will, and which is by definition infallible because He's God. All right, this is a lot more theology than maybe some of you were wanting to hear, but I just find what's interesting here in this passage is God is saying, "No, I won't destroy it. If it's this number, I won't destroy it. If that's the number, I won't destroy it." And it goes down to 10. It turns out that there are supposedly righteous people in the town, and it's Lot and his wife and their daughters, which is 4 people. Although there are things that we hear about Lot that make us question whether this is really such a righteous man. He well, I'm not going to get into it here, but it's interesting. There's a ton of the Old Testament is full of some very interesting passages, some passages that leave you with a lot of questions, and there's stuff going on that it requires some noodling. You have to. There's no easy way to put it all together, and believing biblical scholars have come up with different possibilities, but there's no like I said, there's no simple answer. But I think that this is just really interesting and funny. There's humor, like I said, going on to this passage that I just wanted to draw to your attention. So thanks for watching.